Once I have my image in Photoshop, the next thing that I want to do is I have to make sure that I'm actually on the Photoshop window right now. I can actually tell I'm on the QuickTime Player window, but if I click on my Photoshop window, I can see that I have Photoshop selected now because it says that up here in the right or left hand corner. What I'm going to do now is go to image, and then I'm going to check on the image size, because when I'm printing something for drawing, or if I'm actually going to draw in Photoshop itself, I want to make sure that I have a large enough image to work with. So again, I talked about thousands of pixels earlier, and I can see one of my dimensions is 1200 pixels by 630 pixels, and I'm going to change this a little bit just so that I can draw with it. So my width, I'm going to try to make 18 here. I'm actually even going to try to make 19. The reason I'm mentioning that I can do 19 width by 9 and 9.975, which is almost 10 inches. The largest paper that we have to print from is 13 by 19. So I want to make this image that I'm going to draw large enough that I can print it really big if I want to. Another thing that you need to be aware of is the resolution. Right now my resolution is set at 72, which is fine for looking at it on the computer, but in order to print, we want the quality a lot nicer. So I would recommend at least 200 resolution or higher. The higher the resolution is, the longer it's going to take to print because it's a really high quality image. But depending on what you're trying to do, you may want to go to 300. Sometimes if you're printing things as big as a billboard, you would even have the resolution as high as like 1,000. So I'm going to select OK, and what's going to happen is the computer's reprocessing my image, and you notice how it's zoomed in here because now it's telling me my image is a lot bigger than I had it before. It's really okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press the Command key and the minus button, and what that does is it's going to shrink my photo so that I can see it back on my screen. Sometimes when I'm drawing, I might want to actually zoom back in, so I'm going to also press the Apple or Command button and the plus key, and the plus and minus zooms in and zooms out respectively. The next thing that I want to do is I'm actually going to save my image as, because now that I've changed something, I'm going to label this with my first initial and last name, and then hot air balloon, because that's what this image is. And again, it's saving to the downloads. Right now, it's actually as a JPEG, which I could keep, but I'm actually going to be doing some work in here, so I'm going to change the format. So again, I'm down in the format over here, and I select Photoshop because I'm going to eventually have some layers over here in my layers panel. One other thing that you want to be aware of when you're working in Photoshop is if you actually toggle on that window drop down menu, which is on the very top bar of Photoshop, you can actually look. You're going to want probably at least the layers. I can see my history is not selected, so I'm going to select that, and I'm actually going to move it down on the bottom of this other panel, the adjustments panel that I have here, so that it condenses it a little bit for me. Before, with it out way over here, it's making my image a lot harder to work with. So I'm just going to put it, and you can see it actually like starts to glow blue like this. So once it glows blue, I can see where I'm putting it. I want to be able to see my history window there. In addition to that, so I have the color open. I may also want my brushes panel open. And right now that's kind of in my way, so I'm going to actually grab that top bar and I'm going to bring it over here to the bottom, and I'm actually even going to put it right in here. It's making my colors and other things get a little bit smaller. My layers panel is a little bit smaller right now, but that's okay. I can continue to work with that as I'm going here. So again, I have my image saved as a PSD now, and it actually changed. So over here, when I really opened the images first, they said .jpg, which is a JPEG. It's just a regular image, and now I've changed it to a PSD file because I'm actually going to be doing some different things to it.